Did I pay my dues affiliated to this paper? I need freedom for my family line. Draw my life design up like fine art. I'm jumping out just to the unfamiliar, putting it up like I can touch the sky. That's not one trillion. The ism talk the water out your faucet. Look at me flossing, I'm so wavy I could change the tide. My intuition sense the hatred in your ways. You imitated forging lines, claim meaning means that's just to justify. Yeah, right. West side, born maritime. Creole baby, my bloodline. My lungs clouded, my thoughts crowded. Say all I see is these dollar signs. Finna make a play and that sound delay. On mamas, I testify. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run. Paper chasing, looking for the run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Game recognized game. I'm from the Bay, okay. I'm versatile and my slang is different. I'm lane switching with the same people that I came up in this thing with. My head swivel, I'm homebound. Got a target back on my backside. The cat peeling with the cast iron. Better run for it, run before I catch you. Niggas out ball it, block it. Trying to stop my blessing. Gamble with your life. Don't bet it, don't bet it. They can't stop my blessing. You do best not to test it. Yeah, you right. Real all in my blood supply. To get ball up top finna make a play. I cast a lob like I'm Jalen, baby. No co-signer, no co-pilot. They pen pals, my flow designer. My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission is a dollar sign. If I say it twice, then I meant it right.
My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission is a dollar sign. You know, co-signer, no co-pilot. They pen pals, my flow designer. My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission is a dollar sign.
Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds.
Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking, all right? So shout out to everybody who is in the building early. It is good to see each and every one of you. If you can hear me okay and everything looks and sounds good on the screen, please give me a thumbs up or a radiation emoji in the chat. If you cannot hear me or things are looking and sounding bad, please give me a thumbs down or angry face. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to shout out everybody who is in the building early, all right? Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. What's good with it? Please make sure you guys do exactly what Brooklyn Queen is saying right there. Shout out to my man, Black Free Thinker. What's good with it, bro? And shout out to everybody else who is in the building. It is good to see each and every one of you, all right? So I don't know if anybody noticed, but there was a mini crypto market crash yesterday. Looks like things have recovered. We're going to briefly go into that. We're going to talk about some lower limits that they've been talking about for Bitcoin, because you guys know these lower limits, when it comes to these lower limits, what are these? Lower limits are the buying targets, right? If you guys would agree, throw some money bags in the chat. And we're going to talk about this treasurization nuclear bubble that's happening, all right? But first, for the people who love the plantation, right? The people who love the plantation, right? Throw some hearts in the chat. People whose hearts go pity-pat for the plantation. We got some bad news for you. The plantation is closing its doors. Like I said, we're going to be following the layoff data. We're going to be following the job data because the job data is a very accurate economic indicator. All right. Layoffs are surging as 2025 becomes the year of the pink slip. All right. 2025 becomes the year of the pink slip. Right? What that means? Shout out to my man DJ Elmo. What that mean? That means you're going to have to break up with that plantation as much as you love it. As much as you love the plantation, as much as you love your back baking in the sun and smoke coming off of it, dirt up under your fingernails, as much as you love that lifestyle of misery, you will be forced to depart it when the masters say you gotta go. Shout out to my man AB Promotions, aka FOMO Saki. What's good with it, bro? Layoffs are surging. You're not gonna be able to work a brainless job anymore. You're gonna have to use that brain to figure out creative ways to maintain your income. And if you can't, well, you'll be a human dinosaur. U.S. job cuts have risen almost 50% year over year, with some sectors hit even harder. Services, retail, tech, and nonprofits lead the cut. All right. So now, again, let me ask you this. When AI starts rolling out advanced models that are able to do these type of jobs, what's going to happen to these numbers? What's going to happen to these numbers is the question, right? U.S. employers announced almost 100,000 job cuts in May, up an eye-watering 47% from the same month last year, according to new data released Thursday morning by the outplacement firm Challenger, Gray, and Christmas. That's a very interesting name for a firm. Even with a slight decline from April, the 47% year-over-year jump makes it clear layoffs are a rapidly accelerating trend. What was a murmur is becoming a scream. All right. Yeah. Now check this out. Shout out to DJ Elmo, right? DJ Elmo said even Microsoft laid off its head of AI and many of its software engineers. Ironically, with Microsoft's share price increasing today. How many people saw the Microsoft share price? Anybody see the Microsoft share price? Yeah, it's up today. Okay. Who's going to be able to buy any? Not Microsoft employees that get laid off. 2025 layoff totals already rival all of 2024's. Now, again, question, right? How do people plan to protect themselves from this? You know how we plan to protect ourselves from this, right? 60% APY, building a financial machine that prints tokens, aka staking. Right? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Also, parallel investments in precious metals and other cash generating assets, right? You need to make sure that at least 50% of your expenditures come with the very least of a 10% return at all times. And you need to continue this buying behavior until you're not able to work anymore or until you're not working anymore. Now, did you guys see Elon Musk down there at the bottom of the screen? Who's been paying attention to what's going on with the Tesla stock price? How many people believe that what's going on between Trump and Elon Musk is Tesla stock price manipulation? SpaceX stock price manipulation. If you think that this is a possibility, give me a thumbs up. If you don't think that it's a possibility, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to my man Carlton Wade. What's good with it, bro? Shout out to everybody. If you guys haven't smashed the like button yet, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell, and also please share the stream to your social media. All right. Tariffs. Look at this. Doesn't this sound exactly like what we read yesterday? Tariffs, funding cuts, consumer spending, and overall economic pessimism are putting intense pressure on companies' workforces. Okay. Now look, there goes the Microsoft stock right there in this thing right here. Hold on real quick. See that? Look at this. Tesla stock is having a rough time. Microsoft is up. Now remember, Microsoft rejected the idea of a Bitcoin treasury. Microsoft is part of the lift. Right? Microsoft is part of the lift. Companies are spending less, slowing hiring, and sending layoff notices. Okay. In all, 2025 looks to be on track to scorch recent records. Okay. Now, let me ask you guys something. As a result of this economic activity, should people be aware that they're about to get cut off? Let me ask you guys this question. If you work at a job and you didn't help to build the company, you just work there, is that the same as getting a handout? Is that the same as getting a handout from your rich parent? Because when it comes to these like nepotism families and different things like that, the kids didn't help to build the company. They're just beneficiaries of it, right? If you're an employee and you work particular positions, did you help to build the company? If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, give me a thumbs down. You helped to sustain the company, right? But you didn't help build it, right? So you didn't really do all the hard work. You might do hard labor, right? But you didn't really do all the hard work in building the company. So when they say it's time for you to be cut off, then guess what? You're cut off. And now here's my question. What is anybody going to do about it? What's anybody going to do about it? Nothing. Nothing. They're not going to do anything about it. They're going to sit around and complain. They're going to cry. We don't have jobs. Thought you didn't want a job. Now is your time to be free. Right? Not only will you be free, you'll be free of wealth. Right? Just 6 months into 2025, employers have already announced almost 700,000 job cuts. That's a whopping 80% increase from the same period last year, and just 65,000 short of all layoffs tracked total in 2024. We're only halfway through the year. We're only halfway through the year. Okay. Services, retail, and nonprofits and tech lead in the layoffs. All right. How many people work in these sectors? Everybody works in these sectors. The majority of people work in these sectors. We have a service economy here in the United States. The majority of people work in services, retail, nonprofits, and tech. Okay. Shout out to DJ Elmo. DJ Elmo said, "This is the great reset the World Economic Forum talked about and said you will be happy when you own nothing." Yeah. And I agree. People are all, let me ask you guys this. People are already thrilled to own nothing, right? People are already thrilled to dedicate their lives toward making other people rich, right? I mean, this is already a thing. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Now, people are even going to get their ability to be somebody else's slave removed. The service sector, which includes temporary staffing, cleaning services, and other business-to-business support providers, led the way in May with more than 22,000 layoffs, the worst month for the category since May of 2020. Okay, now what was going on in 2020 that caused a lot of these job cuts? Now, here's the question. What's going on right now that's causing a lot of these job cuts? What's causing these job cuts right now? Right. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said the Rona. Facts. The Rona is what caused the job cuts in 2020. Yeah. As much as people love their jobs, right? People, let me ask you guys this question. How many people would agree the majority of people love being slaves as much as we love Bitcoin? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Even as much as they love being slaves, these people are too simple-minded to even protect their own slavery. They're too simple-minded to protect their own slavery. They won't even fight for the right to leave suction marks on that ass that they kiss. You know what I'm saying? It's wild, man. This is what we're dealing with. Retailers followed with 11,483 job cut announcements, bringing their year-to-date total to more than 75,000. That's up 274% from the same point in 2024. Let me ask you guys this question. Where will this be in 2030? Yeah, they're not even going to be able to do this. They're not even going to be able to say, yes, boss. They're not even going to be able to do it anymore. They're not going to have that ability. And then they're going to cry about it. They're going to make videos. All these videos that they make crying about it will get more videos than the videos that we make talking about how to prevent this type of situation. And then somebody will be supposed to save them. No? You know what I'm saying? It'll be like Mobb Deep said, the next live stream I do might be about you. Sunday broke. Take these words home and think it through. Because the next stream I make might be about you. Sunday broke. Oh, man. Yeah. Rest in peace, Prodigy, right? Take these words home and think it through. Because that next pink slip might be given out to you. Sunday broke. Oh, man. The infamous. You know what I'm saying? Nonprofits likely hit by downstream effects of federal funding reductions also saw significant pain, with layoffs in that sector up a shattering 504% year over year. Let me ask you guys this question. Does this trend justify the fact that you may need to create a means to generate residual income? Why would you just sit here and stare at this with slime coming out of both of your ears? Why would you do it? The only reason why somebody would do it would be because they're not capable of coming up with a creative way to maintain their income. That's the reason why they would do it. Right. Shout out to Carlton. Yes, a Bitcoin or AI. Right? This is amazing. Government-related layoffs remain the biggest single source of reductions, with more than 284,000 job cuts attributed to direct or indirect impacts of Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, a Trump administration initiative driving mass federal workforce reductions. Okay. Tech sector layoffs also surged in May, according to TrueUp.io, with 24,467 tech employees impacted, and Panasonic, Microsoft, Walmart, and OpenText among the largest contributors. Now, and again, look at Microsoft's share price is up at a record high today. It's up at a record high today. Okay. Per the Challenger Gray data, the tech sector now trails only the government and retail for total layoffs in 2025, with total layoffs for 2025 already sitting at 75,000, representing a 35% year-over-year surge. Ladies and gentlemen, what does this trend show? What does this trend show? Let me know in the chat what this trend shows. We talked about this yesterday. Separately, Procter & Gamble announced plans Thursday to eliminate 7,000 white-collar jobs over the next 2 years as it exits underperforming categories and regions. While not immediate, the cut signals a broader shift in strategy for the consumer goods giant and adds to the white-collar layoff trend. Now, let me ask you guys this question. If white-collar jobs are getting axed, what's going to happen to the blue-collar jobs? The blue-collar jobs are the ones that can be done by robots, right? And let me ask you guys this. So because the robots will come and the robots will take people's jobs, what do people say about the robots? AI bad. AI bad. Oh, well. We need to make sure that we invest in AI, right? What would BlackRock do? Invest in AI, right? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. We need to heavily invest in the sector of AI that's going to drive the biggest impact on employment. The sector of AI that's going to wipe out the most jobs is where we need to place a large chunk of investment. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Because that chunk of investment is going to be doing for us what AI takes away from us, which is making us money. Right? Now, let me ask you guys this question. Circle. I asked you guys, had you heard about the Circle IPO? Who is Circle? What does Circle do? Who plans on investing in Circle? You guys see the key word right here? The cryptocurrency company. Okay? Cryptocurrency company. Crypto company stock nearly triples. That's a 300% increase. Let me ask you guys this. How do you think XRP's IPO is going to look? Circle's $1.1 billion IPO shows Wall Street is taking stablecoins seriously as crypto company stock nearly triples. Again, the interest in stablecoins is bizarre, but nonetheless, people's bizarre interests should be exploited to make us as much money as we can possibly make. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. The cryptocurrency company, which offers fully backed digital money for rapid global payments around the clock, priced its IPO above the expected range. Somebody just got really rich. Okay? Somebody just got really rich. Circle's Internet Group Inc.'s stock nearly tripled after the stablecoin issuer initial public offering on Thursday, in a strong sign that Wall Street is taking digital currencies more seriously. Okay. As you guys can see, Circle's stock is up 38.5%, and it ended trading at $83.23 a share at the closing bell, up 165% from its offering price, $31 a share, for the strongest first day gain in at least 4 years among larger US-based IPOs. And in order for content beyond that, you got to make your people great. You got to make your people great. Okay? So now here's my question. Are we tracking the price of Circle? People going to invest in Circle? I'll be investing in Circle. I'll be investing in the most devastating sectors of AI. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to DJ Elmo. DJ Elmo said the plan is to destroy jobs and introduce universal income to substitute wages, which will have lots of conditions, e.g., to receive, you have to live in a certain area or to sell your house. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. If you guys would agree with DJ Elmo, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, then give me a thumbs down. Okay? Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that. So now what do we have to do? Right? What do we have to do? Well, we have to exploit that exact same thing. Right? We have to create a deep separation between the affluent and the poor. We got to make sure we're not part of the poor. Right? Shout out to Black Free Thinker. Black Free Thinker says, I say that it's not strange. Stable coins will be backed by Bitcoin. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of coins that are backed by Bitcoin or coins that are backed by Satoshis. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said you won't be able to buy junk food with universal basic income, or junk food will be the only food you're able to buy with universal basic income. Right? It'll be one or the other. Either you won't be able to buy junk food with universal basic income, or junk food will be the required food. You know, we need to cut about 10 to 20 years off of people's lives because they're taking up all the room and breathing up all the good air, right? So go ahead and eat all these trans fats so we can cycle you through faster. Right? You know? So there are signals that there could possibly be a drop in the Bitcoin price. So when these flush outs decide to flush out, we can pick it up at 98,000. Okay. What do you guys think about that? Sound good? Yeah, shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Insulate ourselves. Facts. We have we'll have our little table with a pyramid and an alien sitting at it. And people can make YouTube videos about us. And every single thing about the YouTube video will be true. You know what I'm saying? Yes, we're planning population control. Since you won't control your own population. You know what I'm saying? Yes, we'll manipulate the jobs to keep you distracted from what we plan on doing, which is societal experimentation on everybody just to see how things work. Yes, why not? This is what you want. This is what people want. So this is what they're going to get. I would rather be part of the people who's administrating the gon' get part and not part of the people that's going to get the gon' get part. Right? Yeah. Talk crazy about me. And then when you see me, tell me how nice my airport is. Yeah. Shout out to Detroit 313. What's good with you, bro? All right. Major Bitcoin price drop alert. Crash to 98,000 to fuel altcoin buying opportunity. Right? This is actually fueling a Bitcoin buying opportunity, if you ask me. All right. But, you know, depends on which altcoins you're talking about. Shout out to my man, Black Free Thinker, man, for fueling the liquidity. You know what I'm saying? Fueling the liquidity. Shout out to you, bro. I appreciate it. Make sure you guys show Black Free Thinker some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for my man, Black Free Thinker, for funding the organization and for buying y'all lunch. Black Free Thinker says, it's been time to be your own massa. Since Obama's first term, sadly, many of these poor souls thought that Trump was going to save them, despite being offended. You know what I'm saying? When people say people like Trump will save them. Right. Facts. Shout out to Black Free Thinker, man. Make sure y'all show my man Black Free Thinker some love. I appreciate it, bro. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for Black Free Thinker for funding the organization.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs. Eat the cat, eat the cat. Eat the cat, eat the cat.
Seeing red, so don't push me. Ain't Donald Trump trying to grab him by the... Said it was some Haitians somewhere out in Springfield. Women doing cartwheels.
Have you seen Garfield?
Eat the cat.
Have you seen Snowball? This about to snowball. I'm about to go off. I can't let this go on. Miss me like an airball. Tell me where my cat is, cough it up like a hairball.
Eat the cat.
I gotta tell them if they even put the fingernail on Santa's little helper to turn them to hamburger helper. Somebody better help them, cause I'm going to jail for showing them fellas helter skelter.
Eating the dog.
Usually I'm content, but if you touch my dog, then I'm turning into John Wick. I'm lit. Bird better drop it. If you touch my pet, then I'm pulling up like CrossFit.
They're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. Eat the cat, eat the cat. They're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs. Eat the cat, eat the cat. Eat the cat, eat the cat.
It's a shame, it's a pity. Thought overseas where they said Hello Kitty, but it ain't there, it's right here in your city. When I turn my back, now the cat goes missing and they eat the cat. Where my peoples is at? Does anybody know where he took with that? Cause I heard they putting claws on felines, I'm mad. And my cat disappeared just like Felix the cat. And they eat the cat. Got paid back. Thought she was a goner, but the cat came back. If you ain't a pussy cat, say drop that cat. Drop that cat. Drop that cat. Got paid back. Thought she was a goner, but the cat came back. If you ain't a pussy cat, say drop that cat. Drop that cat. Drop that.
eating the cats. Eat the cat. Eat the cat. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. Eat the cat.
Drop that cat.
Definitely appreciate it, bro. Now, let me ask you guys this question. Who, why, we have to talk about this condition. Why do people feel that they need a quote unquote savior? They won't admit it, right? But they talk like it, right? So we gotta examine that. Why do people feel like they need a savior? Let me know what you guys think. Shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all haven't smashed the like button yet, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit the bell, and also please share the stream to your social media, right? Now, Bitcoin was supposed to be a catalyst to saving people, right? But the Bitcoin experiment by Satoshi Nakamoto has shown, and it has proven that people do not want financial independence. A small, vital few of people want financial independence. So if the original intended purpose of Bitcoin is not massively adopted because of resistance from the docile public, those of us who do embrace Bitcoin, the only choice that we have is dark Bitcoinization, like MicroStrategies, like BlackRock, dark asset acquisition. It's the only choice that we have. Shout out to Carlton Way. Shout out to Cameron. What's good with it, bro? I gotta agree. Yeah. If you guys would agree, because they are too lazy to save themselves, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Black Free Thinker. Black Free Thinker says because it's less labor intensive, including and especially in the area of labor with the brain. Facts. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Brooklyn Queen says they refuse to believe in or invest in themselves for some insecure reasons. I agree 100%. They can talk around it as much as they want. Action speaks louder than words. Action speaks louder than words. And I'm about that action. So since people have rejected, they've rejected the idea of divestment from the financial system, dark Bitcoinization is the optimal investment strategy. And the reason why it's the optimal investment strategy is because those people who choose to throw away their financial freedom, well, they may as well give it to us. We may as well get a piece of it because that's what BlackRock, MicroStrategies, and all these other companies are buying in bulk. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Detroit 313. Detroit 313 says now they are looking for a savior to not face their own demise. That's why when you hear about to say Malcolm X or MLK, we have no leaders, is BS. It's best for themselves to make action of independent. Yeah. There's a song that Nas had that's on the Lost Tapes, right? It's called Black Zombie. How many people have ever heard of that song? Anybody ever heard the song called Black Zombie on Nas's Lost Tapes? If you heard that song, give me a thumbs up. If you have not heard that song, give me a thumbs down. People should listen to that song. People should listen to that song, or they shouldn't. Regardless if you listen to it or not, we're still dark Bitcoinizing. You know what I'm saying? We're still dark de-dollarizing. We're still dark asset acquiring. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the Bitcoin price is still ping-ponging between support and resistance, but it is still moving in favor of the bulls at this point. This is due to the fact that the price is still holding well above $100,000, and this is a psychological level that could be a determinant of a bull or bear move. Amid this, crypto analyst Zanrox believes that the Bitcoin price is headed down after hitting its new all-time high of close to $112,000, and this downtrend would push altcoins down further. Okay, and again, this is kind of similar to what I said. Now, again, this pushing Bitcoin down is only a temporary thing. It's not a bad thing. It's basically just depressurizing until the next contraction for the most part, right? That's all that is. You know what I'm saying? Why the Bitcoin price is breaking down. The reason for the Bitcoin price decline, as outlined by the crypto analyst, is that the leading cryptocurrency is actually breaking down out of an ascending parallel channel that was formed while the price moved from 74,000 to 112,000. This was seen in the initial downtrend that sent Bitcoin from 111,000 down to 103,000 before the relief rally. Okay. In addition to the ascending channel, the crypto analyst also points out the formation of a symmetrical triangle inside the channel. This is also important to keep an eye on since symmetrical triangles are known for sweeping liquidity. While these liquidity sweeps are not one-sided, it is still notable as it can sweep liquidity above and below the triangle. Probabilities of the direction of the liquidity sweep increase in a direction depending on whether the bears or bulls are currently dominating. Okay. Zanrock also explains that the Bitcoin price has already completed the 5 full waves of the Elliott wave theory, and as such, the next thing is a corrective ABC wave. In this case, it is expected to fall back to the 0.382 and 0.5 and 0.618 Fibonacci levels again. So now, if it goes to these Fibonacci levels, where does that take the price? Right. Shout out to Black Free Thinker. If you guys agree with Black Free Thinker, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Black Free Thinker says the monolith is obsessed with the Diddy trial, while the elites are having an economic Diddy party for all of the world to see and endure. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Facts. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's interesting, right? How many people would make the assumption your life results tend to reflect the content that you consume? How many people would say that there's a parallel there? There's a relationship there. I think that there is. I definitely think that there is. With the expectation that the Fibonacci levels will fall to about 0.382 and then 0.5 and then 0.618, the first culprit for where Bitcoin price is expected to fall is just below $98,000. At this level, the crypto analyst believes that it is time to start buying, okay? So put that $98,000 level into your phone, right? $98,000. When you see Bitcoin start to approach $98,000, according to this is the time to buy. Shout out to my man AW1. What's good with it, bro? Yo, make sure y'all show AW1 some love. AW1 showed some love to your boy on the Cash App yesterday. Definitely appreciate you. In addition to the chart formations, Zanrock also calls out an unfilled fair value gap at this level, and once it fills, a great level to start buying before the next wave to the upside. All right. Now, again, when it comes to these predictions about the prices, none of these predictions say that the price is going down to zeros. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Brooklyn Queens be like, take that, take that, take that. Yeah, that's how BlackRock and MicroStrategies be with the Bitcoin, right? They see all that Bitcoin laying around. They're like, take that, take that, take that. And then they do take it. That's how a lot of these large companies are doing with jobs, right? Oh, you think you got a job? We finna take that, take that, take that. Right? Yeah, that's what they're doing. If this decline does happen, then altcoins are expected to actually fall further from here. This would put them at great buy levels as well, especially as altcoins are sitting so close to all-time low levels. However, after the first FVG is filled and there isn't strong momentum, the second Fibonacci level at 0.05 puts the Bitcoin price at $92,000. All right, so again, $92,000, I'm not mad at that. I'll take a $92,000 Bitcoin. Because at these low levels, right, at these low levels of Bitcoin, those are buying signals. We don't care, right? When it says your portfolio is worth XYZ, we don't care about what the portfolio is worth because it's being valued worthlessly. The only thing that we care about is nominal Bitcoin value. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. The only thing we care about is nominal Bitcoin value. I don't care how much, like if you say that Bitcoin is worth 98,000 or 78,000, that's subjective, right? And it's a popularity contest with the popularity measure being based in dollars. Real value is the nominal amount of Bitcoin that you have. So it doesn't matter because you could take Bitcoin somewhere and there's always somewhere where the currency is hyperinflating or devalued. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Meanwhile, the third and last Fibonacci level at 0.0618 puts it at as low as 87,500. And we've seen the $88,000 Bitcoin already, right? Usually we want to look for a buying opportunity at 0.382, 0.5, or 0.618 Fibonacci levels. The crypto analyst explained. All right. So, and again, you don't even have to get this technical. For the most part, what you want to do is you want to try to buy Bitcoin as close to your average buying price as you can, especially as long as your average buying price is lower than the current price. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. So that's why any downside to Bitcoin, any Bitcoin under 100,000, for the most part, is a great deal. It's a great deal. If you look at the short-term future, any Bitcoin under $100,000, we know it's going back to $100,000. Any Bitcoin in the future, we know is going to $1 million. So it's all a great price. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think currently Bitcoin is sitting at about $105,000. I think it's sitting at $105,000. What they're saying is that there's a possibility that Bitcoin's price could crash to $100,000. All right, so this crash to $100,000. I mean, this is just on the way to that 87,000 that they talked about earlier. Okay. Next targets revealed as bears take over. All right, so if bears are taking over, then it's time to be a buying bull, right? If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, then give me a thumbs down. The Bitcoin price is falling fast, and with bears currently taking control, a crypto analyst has forecasted an impending crash below $100,000. While this potential downturn may sound alarming, the analyst has also revealed that after the pullback, Bitcoin is expected to undergo a significant price rally to new all-time highs. So again, this is literally what I said. This is basically just blowing off steam. You know what I'm saying? It's like you drop the pop bottle on the floor and you open it up and all the foam comes out and depressurizes. Same thing. Bitcoin price faces immediate crash risk. Okay. Bitcoin appears to be entering a cooling phase after experiencing a significant bullish run that spanned several weeks and led to its current all-time high of almost 112,000. Melkia Trader 94, the Trading View crypto analyst responsible for this new technical analysis, predicts that during this cooling period, bears could take over and send the Bitcoin price crashing down to former lows under $100,000. Now, and again, as you watch these things over time, understand the irony of discussing Bitcoin lows at $100,000. There was a time when $100,000 was the goal. When Bitcoin was $1,000, people were saying Bitcoin is going to $100,000. Now $100,000 is the low. Put that into consideration. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Black Free Thinker. Black Free Thinker says, never mind fiat. You can always take your Bitcoin holdings and divide it by 21 million. Facts. Facts. That's the point. That is the absolute point. On a 4-hour chart presented by the analyst, Bitcoin has consistently respected a descending trend line, acting as a strong resistance threshold. This line, which formed after the recent peak, has now rejected price action multiple times, preventing further upward movement and hinting at a growing bearish pressure in the short term. Okay. At the time of analysis, Bitcoin was trading at 106,432, attempting to test the descending trend line once again. However, the chart shows that Bitcoin lacks strong momentum, suggesting that another rejection is likely. If this rejection occurs, Bitcoin's price action is expected to correct downward towards the 99,000 region, marked on the chart as a key horizontal support zone. Okay. Bitcoin's projected pullback is consistent with typical market behavior, especially after an extended bullish phase. Based on the TradingView experts' analysis, a drop to the $99,000 support level could shake out weak hands and provide fresh buy dip opportunities for traders. Let me ask you guys this question. Which one are you going to do? Are you going to get flushed out, or are you going to buy the dip? If you're going to get flushed out, throw a toilet in the chat and then stick your head in it, right? If you're going to buy the dip, throw some rockets in the chat. While the structure of the projected downward move is not entirely bearish, it suggests a necessary retest of lower support areas before any sustainable rally can resume. I'm sorry. Bullish continuation expected after a pullback. So again, this is what I'm saying. These are just temporary periods, right? These are temporary periods. Okay. Shout out to Black Free Thinker. Black Free Thinker says, to be honest with you, I don't give a damn if I hear the damn Super Bowl shuffle when I check the Bitcoin price. Shoot, I'll be buying that sign like an MF though. Facts. And what's fascinating about it is that there will be people that are asking you, well, what happened to Bitcoin? What happened to Bitcoin? What happened to Bitcoin? Did you lose money? What happened to Bitcoin? Did you lose money? If you're buying the dip, you're never losing money. You know what I'm saying? The dips are buying opportunities. In most cases, we've bought all of our Bitcoin over the dip. And again, you just have to step back and look at people. You just have to step back and look at them. Okay. Melkia Trader 94 has suggested that correcting down to the $99,000 support zone is critical for determining Bitcoin's next rally. If this crash successfully occurs and buyers step in to defend the support, Bitcoin could begin forming a strong bullish continuation structure. Okay. So what needs to happen is Bitcoin needs to go down in price, right? When the price goes down, it needs to stimulate a demand for people buying the dip. When the dip starts to get bought in an accelerated rate, that's going to push the price higher. Higher highs, higher lows, right? The TradingView analyst chart outlines a possible rebound from the support area, which could trigger a breakout above the descending trend line. A sustained move above this trend line would potentially invalidate the short-term bearish structure and set the stage for a new all-time high, with price targets extending beyond $114,000. So again, what I want you guys to understand when it comes to these bearish cycles is that these are bearish cycles. They're bearish cycles, and at the end of the bearish cycle, it's always explained that there's going to be upward momentum after the bearish cycle is over. But people get flushed out. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man TD Media Group. What's good with it, bro? TD Media Group says, Ninja, shut up. That's why I ain't paid you the money I owe you. Ninja's talking about send me money in Bitcoin. Ninja, you ain't Eric Adams. Yeah, that's right. You're going to pay the Satoshi fee. You're going to pay the Satoshi fee or wait till the amount of Bitcoin is higher than the amount where they don't charge. You know what I'm saying? And it'll take that 24 hours to send. Make sure y'all show TD some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and subduction in the chat for TD for funding the organization.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
All right. So, yeah, do you guys remember, again, we talked about all those layoffs, right? Now, again, we also talked about how the 64% APY on Bitcoin, right? So if Bitcoin is $100,000 and you got one Bitcoin, 64% APY, the idea is that that would increase by 64%. So the idea is that that would be $164,000. That's the entire salary. But people are worried about their job. And again, this is why I'm saying we have to not discount the lies that people will look you in your eye and tell. People are fighting for the plantation doors to stay open. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. They're fighting for it. Let me ask you guys this question. How many times have you seen people sweating, screaming, crying, yelling because someplace won't give them a job? Make your own job. Make your own salary. Here you go. Doge XRP holders reveal secrets of making $27,570 daily. Do that. Here you go. How to make $10,000 a day. Use your phone or computer. Do that, right? Do that, right? And then what Tribe Called Quest said, do that, that, right? Do that. Right? Notably, Bitcoin's consolidation around its current price of 104,500, followed by a possible dip to the well-established support zone, fits the analyst's narrative that the market is prepping for a big move. The TradingView expert has urged investors and traders to keep an eye out for a strong bounce, as this projected pullback could be a healthy one that comes just before a bullish leg up. Okay? Now, since TD is here, right? Since TD is here, we got to change the agenda a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, TD had dropped the super chat and then bounce, right? We got to change the agenda a little bit. We got to we got to talk about TD's personal friend. You know what I'm saying? Vivek Ramaswamy. All right? We got to talk about TD's personal friend, Vivek Ramaswamy. So I want you guys to understand how simple-minded people are, okay? Vivek Ramaswamy has already sparked the emotions of the emotionally weak, docile, and manipulatable people of the world. So now these people, right, won't pay attention to what Vivek Ramaswamy does. Because that's what they've been doing. Shout out to TD. TD said, I was this close to leaving too. Right. See that? So Vivek Ramaswamy has said some select remarks. People who lack confidence in themselves, people who lack confidence in their culture, people who actually believe the words of our critics like it's religion while trying to act like they care so much about us, have had to do to say the last word streams while not discussing anything about him being a billionaire. He went on the Breakfast Club and said some things. Let's talk about what he said on the Breakfast Club and not talk about how he made his fortune. Right? Because the fortune is never the important thing when you identify through being broke and when you identify through a struggle. The U.S. political system has people down to mind control, quality control. They know exactly what to do to turn you off from wealth building opportunities. They know that some people have such little emotional control. In order for that person to deter you from using a strategy that they might have used to get rich, all they have to do is say select things to hurt your little feel goods, and then you'll no longer pay attention to them. Once you've stopped paying attention to them, that's when they break the big bread behind the scenes, and you sit around and wonder why you're still broke. So why am I saying that? I'm saying that because people need to evolve, right? People need to evolve. What is Vivek Ramaswamy doing? When he needed votes, he was making content about the people who he knew would make massive videos about him to get his name out there. Because if people are making massive videos about him and saying, I can't stand this guy because he says XYZ, well, those other people will say, well, this guy is the guy for us. So all of the people who claim that they were defending, quote unquote, the community from Vivek Ramaswamy were his free advertising agency. They were his free advertising agency. And this is why rich people stay rich. Because instead of hiring an advertising agency, Vivek Ramaswamy says, all I have to do is make certain remarks about certain people, and these people will put my message out. And the people who need to hear my message will gravitate to my message by the people who are resistant against my message. And as always, it worked like a charm. If you guys would agree it worked like a charm, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Got to evolve. Got to evolve. And people are always mad at the winners for winning, but they're never mad at the losers for losing. I don't understand it. So what was most important is that Vivek Ramaswamy made certain remarks. Despite the fact that there's a racial wealth gap, it's not important how Vivek Ramaswamy is changing his wealth generation strategy. I find that fascinating, right? Vivek Ramaswamy's firm wants to buy biotech companies to bet on Bitcoin. Let me ask you guys this question. How many people knew that Vivek Ramaswamy also had a company that filed for Bitcoin ETFs? If you guys knew that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys didn't, give me a thumbs down. Of course, people don't know that because he already came on the Breakfast Club and gave the don't pay attention to me repellent to the poor people, and the poor people ate it like rat poison because rats eat poison. You could put a nice piece of cheese right next to a rat poison and a rat will eat the poison. Here goes some cheese right next to some poison, and the rats ate the poison. You know what I'm saying? Strive Asset Management has raised over $750 million to pursue this strategy, while Ramaswamy runs to be Ohio's governor. Okay? So, again, in order to get the entire article, got to make people great. So, since I'm not great, you get a not great article. Entrepreneur and politician Vivek Ramaswamy made much of his fortune by founding biotech companies and trading their stocks. All right. But now the former GOP presidential candidate and current contender for Ohio governor is planning to use that sector to fund a big bet on Bitcoin. Now, here's my question. Why is he doing that? Why is he doing that? Let me ask you guys this question. A lot of these conservatives, Trump's family, right? Vivek Ramaswamy, Brad Garlinghouse. These people are going to be astronomically wealthy with their early cryptocurrency investments, while the party of the docile is telling the docile that this is a scam. But 10 years into the future, the party of the docile will be complaining that these Bitcoin investors won't give them a job when they had the opportunity to buy Bitcoin? Why should you be given a job? Michael Saylor, Vivek Ramaswamy, Brad Garlinghouse. I mean, the list goes on. Larry Fink from BlackRock. What more evidence does it take? You have to at some point start asking the question, where is the human disconnect? Do people do this stuff on purpose? Do people wish to remain broke on purpose? Somebody make it make sense. Where is the disconnect coming from? You know what I'm saying? Now, here's a crazy bearish prediction. This is like the Kathy Woods of bear predictions, right? Bearish predictions. An expert suggests Bitcoin could fall far below $10,000. What kind of expert is this? What kind of expert is this that's saying that Bitcoin could fall far below $10,000? Let me ask you guys this question. If Bitcoin falls far below $10,000, what do you plan on doing? What is your plan? Shout out to Black Free Thinker. Black Free Thinker said, it's that I'll wait for you at the finish line mentality. Well, not my damn problem. Right. Shout out to John Guillory. John Guillory said, what? Below 10,000? What is he smoking? I have no idea. But I'll tell you what. If it goes below 10,000, I'm going to buy some. And with the remaining money, I'm going to be smoking the same thing. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said the experts I see all the time. Those the ones with the those the ones with the orange jumpsuits that say DOC on the back of them. Yeah, well, see, what you need to understand about Bitcoin is that it's fake money. You understand? And ain't nothing but air. Man, shout out to Karen, bro. I'm emptying out. I'm emptying out everything, bro. I'm emptying out everything, and I'm about to live out my car. I'm about to set up shop in a little parking lot, and I'm straight about to live out my car. I'm about to find a little rat roach motel. I'm gonna stay living in the little rat roach motel. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said Michael Saylor will be selling at their price. Shout out to TD. TD said the experts who say, you dig? Yeah, that shit ain't going to, it's going to $10,000, family. You know what I'm saying? Oh man. And then the video, and then the YouTube content will come. How Black Americans were left out of the great Bitcoin rush of 2025. Man. Yeah. If the content comes about how Black Americans were left out of 2025, I hope that the Black Americans who directed Black Americans away from Bitcoin are the main topic of that video. Because if not, the same way the market corrects, we'll have to do a minor correction, right? And it won't just be, you know, it won't just be a lot of them, you know, proxy Trump supporters, right? It'll be, you know, also people like Officer Tatum. Right? Officer Tatum said that Bitcoin is a scam. Shout out to John Guillory. John Guillory says, if that happens, I'm mortgaging the house. Seriously. Bro, I'm telling you, I'm self-liquidating. I'm liquidating everything. Garage, it's going to be like a 365-day garage sale. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to have like 2 pairs of clothes. You know, I might have to live stream from my phone. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm selling my computer. Everything gone. You know what I'm saying? Everything getting liquidated. Oh man. if Bitcoin falls below $10,000, I'm buying as much as I can. Bro, I'm buying as much as I can. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Brooklyn Queen said, at the Rat Motel with all of your servers and miners, your room will be the only fortress on the complex. Facts. Shout out to TD. TD said, look how TD left out homie. Look how TD left out homie. TD said, Big Tatum said it was a scam. Yeah, Big Tatum said it was a scam. Not Big Homie Tatum, right? Oh, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, listen. TD said, no homie. You got to cut off the cancer, bro. You got to cut off the cancer. If you want your YouTube channel to be great, you know what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you do what you got to do, we know why you did what you got to do. You will always be at home here. You know what I'm saying? And you got a wrench. You know what I'm saying? So if it get too hot, you know what I'm saying, you can just start whacking people with it, right? But you have to fully commit to the dark side, or I should say the light side. You know what I'm saying? You have to provide full committal to the light side. You know what I'm saying? If you want to thrive, you know what I'm saying? Otherwise, you know what I'm saying, you'll be locked into YouTube and financial purgatory, like me. You know what I'm saying? And you'll be chilling here with the digital elites. You know what I'm saying? You'll be chilling here amongst the digital elites with the likes of John Guillory and Black Free Thinker and Bitcoin Shante and Fomo Saki. You know what I'm saying? Wouldn't lose a rug. You know what I'm saying? Cameron Jones. You have to pledge, and you know what you have to do. You know what you have to do. You know what I'm saying? Look, you're not doing that real work. Shout out to TD. TD said, you holding me back, bro. I got to get back to work. That's why I normally just drop my super chat and dip. You got to pledge full committal. You got to pledge full committal to the light side. You got to get rid of that black hat. You know what I'm saying? You got to stop playing around. You got to stop playing around. You got to get rid of that black hat. You got to get the bloodiest red MAGA hat that you can find. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to say it. You got to say it. You got to say it. You got to give full commitment. You know what I'm saying? The same way that I'm fully committed to Bitcoin, the same way that I've de-dollarized. You know what you got to do. You know what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? You know what you got to do. Once you've done that, there will be an abundance of God bless America in your chat. There will be an abundance, you know what I'm saying, of I love this guy's channel in your chat. The AdSense revenue will be unlimited. Oh, man. Yeah, there'll be an abundance of God protect Trump in your chat. You know what I'm saying? All of the riches and benefits can be yours. You know what I'm saying? You just got to give full committal. And you know what that is. Hey, yo, T, what up, T? Hey, yo, T, what up, T? The cat, the rat, the snake, the dog. How you gonna MAGA when you living in the dark? Yeah, how you gonna MAGA when you living in the dark? The cat, the rat, the snake, the dog. How you gonna MAGA when you living in the dog? Oh man, you gotta do it, man. You gotta do it.
I am the rocks of the eternal shore. Crash against me and be broken.
Oh man, you gotta bring them the purity of oblivion. Shout out to Tia. What's good with it, Tia? Tia said, yeah. See, Carlton knows. Carlton said, I love this guy's channel. I see that on a lot of black content creators when they say certain narratives. Oh man, you need to liquidate those people. You know what I'm saying? Liquidate those people. Just cut that money bag open and let them dollars and coins just fall right out into your hat. and tell them I'll collect them. I'll catch all the coin with my MAGA hat. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, that's hilarious, man. That is hilarious.
Ancient spirits of evil, transform this decayed form to Mum-Ra, the ever-living.
Hey, no, it's more like this. Hey, yo, T, what up, T? You know I ain't hating, but you know what them folks want you to say about reparations. And that is the dangers, you know what I'm saying, of not being made great. That's the dangers of not being made great. That's why it's so important to make people great. Oh, Obi-Wan Kenobi crying and crying and crying. We lost Anakin Skywalker to the dark side. We lost TD to the light side. You know what I'm saying? We lost TD to the light side. We lost Anakin Skywalker to the dark side. Did you lose him? Is that what happened? You know where he's at. He's on the Death Star. You ain't losing. Losing is when you don't know where somebody is. All right? You didn't lose him. Obi-Wan Kenobi put Anakin Skywalker on that Death Star. Obi-Wan Kenobi put Anakin Skywalker with Emperor Palpatine. People need to remember that. People need to remember that. Someone's greatness, you know, it may manifest in a different way if intended results don't happen. We're watching that happen with Bitcoin. Bitcoin was made for financial freedom. It was made for people who are victims of the fiat system. Poor, unfortunate souls who are just working to be in debt. That's what Bitcoin was made for. That's what Bitcoin was made for. If Bitcoin was made for that, then why do BlackRock and MicroStrategies own the majority of the supply of it? MicroStrategies and BlackRock are buying Bitcoin at MicroStrategies and BlackRock prices. People didn't buy Bitcoin at people prices. And so now, instead of financial freedom, now you got dark Bitcoinization. Now, is Bitcoin still doing this thing? Yeah, it is. It's just not doing this thing the way that it was intended. Because the people didn't make Bitcoin great. Michael Saylor did. Larry Fink did. And then people will say Bitcoin is for the rich. That's a damn lie. That's a damn lie. That's who Bitcoin was not made for. So, these are the dangers of not making someone or something great when you're supposed to. When you got Bitcoin, right? And Bitcoin is supposed to be made for people who are in perpetual debt, and companies that have perpetual wealth buy it all up because the people that have perpetual debt say, I'm dumb. Well, Bitcoin takes on a new purpose. What happens when the guy that brought you all the cutting edge information about reparations? What happens when that person gets embraced by people who don't want you to have reparations? What happens? What happens? These are questions that gaslighting content creators and gaslighting legacy ideology have made people not have to confront. And non-confrontation is one of the biggest issues that people have nowadays. Like I said earlier in the stream, you could have a piece of cheese next to rat poison, and the rats will eat the poison first. We see it happen every day. Now we're just watching what human vermin do. And all vermin do the exact same thing. They follow a pattern of where they can find food. Too bad. Too bad. Too bad. Too bad. Too bad. And that's why we buying up. And the reason why we're buying up all the Bitcoin is to make sure that the next person don't get it. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said, maybe the people have a second chance with XRP or ZBEC. Maybe. Maybe. But that's just a maybe. You know what I'm saying? That's just a maybe. You know what I mean? Maybe they have a second chance if Bitcoin falls below 10,000. But I think that those people will say, see, we told you so, and then still not buy Bitcoin. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, as the Bitcoin price stabilizes 5% below its all-time high of $111,800, which was reached last week, predictions of further price declines have emerged. More surprisingly, one expert claims that all of Bitcoin's history is a staged illusion. I wonder what this guy's name is. This person here. It's all a staged illusion. Are they now calling Hassan Campbell a Bitcoin analyst? Which could cause it to dip towards $10,000 for the first time in nearly 5 years. Okay. Expert alleges Bitcoin's rise is the largest bubble in history. Now, that's interesting, right? I wouldn't necessarily say that. I would say that certain economies are the biggest bubble in history. Would you guys, if you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Black Free Thinker. Okay, it's not Hassan Campbell. Black Free Thinker said his name is Jacob King. Jacob Kang, huh? Jacob King, the CEO of the news aggregator Whalewire, took to social media to assert that Bitcoin's trajectory is a carefully constructed illusion designed to convey a sense of institutional commitment and government endorsement, thereby fostering the illusion of a thriving market driven by authentic demand. Okay, so what happened to back in the day when the government didn't support Bitcoin? Was that an illusion too? King's bold claim characterized Bitcoin's current state as the largest bubble in human history, poised to unfold as monumental financial scandal. Of course, this is only King's opinion based on his analysis. All right. So now here's my question. What would bring him to this analysis? What would bring him to this analysis? Where would this analysis come from? The narrative King presented delves into the web of interconnected entities that allegedly manipulate the cryptocurrency market. Drawing attention to the case of El Salvador's purported Bitcoin investment, King highlighted discrepancies in the narrative, alleging that a significant portion of the country's Bitcoin reserves had not been acquired through legitimate means, but rather transferred from Bitfinex and Tether. That's interesting. That's actually fascinating. I would like to see more about that. I'm not discounting that at all. That's actually a very interesting assumption. This alleged manipulation, according to King, extends to the very core of the industry, with entities like Tether orchestrating alleged schemes to bolster liquidity and fabricate a facade of institutional backing. That's interesting. Alleged Bitcoin market manipulations. Now, I wouldn't disagree that the Bitcoin market is being manipulated, right? But I would think that it's being manipulated by other whales more so. But this Tether theory is very interesting, and the link to El Salvador. That is very interesting. I'm not gonna write that off. I'm not gonna write that theory off. Now, I don't think that Bitcoin is a scam. I don't think that it's fraud. I don't think any of that. But I think that this Tether theory is fascinating. I will say that. You know what I'm saying? The unraveling of these alleged machinations, as per King's assertions, casts doubt on the authenticity of Bitcoin's growth and the legitimacy of the broader cryptocurrency ecosystem. King's narrative underscored a network of intertwined interests where figures like Michael Saylor, the founder of Bitcoin proxy firm Strategy, are depicted as integral players, perpetuating a cycle of leverage and speculation rather than genuine investment in Bitcoin. Furthermore, King's reflections extend to the role of stablecoins like Tether's US dollar Tether in propping up the Bitcoin market, creating a fragile ecosystem wherein the value of stablecoins could potentially surpass that of traditional fiat currencies, which is interesting because US dollar Tether and US dollar coin are not significantly more higher value than a dollar, but they are consistently worth more than a dollar. Shout out to Black Free Thinker. Black Free Thinker said, I hope that's true in a way. Sell me your Bitcoin. Facts. The intricate interplay between Tether's activities and Bitcoin stability, according to King, forms a precarious foundation susceptible to collapse in the face of regulatory scrutiny and diminishing institutional interest. Now, again, one thing that I think that's going to happen, and I don't know if this is just going to directly affect Bitcoin, but I think that this will affect the wider cryptocurrency market, is when this treasury bubble busts. Because every company is not going to be able to leverage Bitcoin or even Solana the way that MicroStrategies has leveraged Bitcoin. People see that this is a thing that works. People see that this is a thing that has worked, and they're just jumping on the bandwagon without an actual successful strategy or without a game plan, if you ask me. Shout out to everybody. I appreciate you guys watching. If you haven't smashed the like button yet, please do me a favor, take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell, and also please share the stream to your social media. Okay. So he's suggesting that Bitcoin might plunge toward $10,000 for the first time in almost half a decade. Expressing skepticism regarding the sustainability of Bitcoin's current price levels, King portrayed a market on the verge of a substantial correction. If this ominous forecast materializes, it would signify a profound shift in Bitcoin's valuation, departing from the lofty peaks it has recently scaled. Okay. That's interesting. Those are very interesting theories. Now, you know, most people that say, you know, quote unquote, Bitcoin is a scam and all of this type of stuff, they say it and they don't really have anything behind it. I think that makes at least a case, you know, for further investigation. You know what I'm saying? If you ask me. So let's take a look at. Let me just see something here. We already know that there's an issue with Bitcoin scarcity, right? We've been talking about this. Now they're talking about it in the news. We've been talking about this for a while now, right? Bitcoin scarcity may spark explosive surge. Bank study shows. Okay. Now, we'll talk about this another time. Okay. We will talk about this another time. I want to show you guys this right here. We're going to talk about this a little bit more. This is the post that was on CoinMarketCap. Bitcoin could replace the dollar as reserve currency, warns Coinbase CEO. Thoughts? The United States dollar is the world reserve currency. Is this true or false? Now, if the world reserve currency holders are going to start holding Bitcoin as a reserve currency, my question for you is, what does that say? What does that say? Help me out. Tell me what that says. If the holders of the world reserve currency plan to hold Bitcoin, what does that say? That's my question. Okay. Bitcoin could replace dollar as reserve currency, warns Coinbase CEO. Coinbase CEO Brian Armstrong has cautioned that Bitcoin could replace the US dollar as the global reserve currency if Congress fails to address America's $37 trillion debt crisis. Now, here's my question. What is a viable plan to address $37 trillion in debt? How do you deal with that? Is there a viable plan to deal with that? How do you deal with that? The warning comes as House Republicans passed Trump-backed legislation extending tax cuts while boosting military spending and cutting social programs. Okay. 6 Nobel Prize-winning economists warned that the bill could drive public debt higher by over $3 trillion and increase inequality. How do you all feel about that? When you hear something like this, what is your first thought? When I hear something like this, my first thought is, I need to buy more Bitcoin. I need to buy more gold. I need to buy more Ethereum. I need to make more money. If you guys would agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. U.S. states like New Hampshire and Arizona are already stockpiling Bitcoin to protect against potential dollar devaluation. Tesla CEO Elon Musk criticized the spending bill as a quote-unquote disgusting abomination filled with excessive pork barrel spending. Okay. The mounting debt crisis is fueling institutional interest in Bitcoin due to its fixed supply and inflation-resistant design. Okay. Critics argue the legislation may accelerate growing global efforts to de-dollarize the international economy and financial systems. What does that mean? What does that mean? Yeah, this first comment here, this person's name, this person's name is Hague White People. Whether someone liked it or not, crypto is the future of financial systems and payments. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with this guy. Okay. I wouldn't disagree with him. Now, let me ask you this. Does that sound like what Larry Fink said? BlackRock, when we went over BlackRock Grayscale's memorandum to their clients? Coinbase CEO fears Bitcoin replaces dollar if U.S. debt grows as Elon Musk calls for firing of 215 Republicans. Now, let me ask you this question. Who's going to answer Elon Musk's call? Who's going to answer Elon Musk's call? Anyone? Is there anybody that's going to answer? Elon Musk is on the phone. Anybody going to answer? Brian Armstrong and Elon Musk went on the offensive against government overspending in late night X posts. Okay. And so now there's this, I don't know if this is real or not between Trump and Elon Musk. I think it's a Tesla stock price manipulation tactic. But now you got Trump and Elon Musk acting like they don't like each other. Brian Armstrong, the CEO of Coinbase, issued a stark warning this week. If U.S. lawmakers don't get the national debt under control, Bitcoin could supplant the dollar as the world reserve currency. Now, let me ask you guys this question. Do you think that Brian Armstrong is happy about that? If you think Brian Armstrong is loving that, give me a thumbs up. If you don't think that Brian Armstrong is loving that, give me a thumbs down. If the electorate doesn't hold Congress accountable to reducing the deficit and start paying down debt, Bitcoin is going to take over as reserve currency. Why do you think the United States wants to get 1 million Bitcoin? The United States wants to get 1 million Bitcoin so they could skip out on the debt while attempting to put liens on people and take their assets. Who's gonna perform repo operations on the United States? Is my question. I love Bitcoin, but a strong America is also super important to the world. We need to get our finances under control. Here's my version of this sentence revised. I love Bitcoin. That's my version of that sentence, right? I love Bitcoin. I could care less about, whatever else happens. His comment was a direct response to a post from World of Statistics showing U.S. national debt figures over time. The numbers paint a dramatic picture. Debt has soared from $5.7 trillion in 2000 to $36.9 trillion in 2025, a more than six-fold increase in just 25 years. Now, you want to know something that's interesting? Bitcoin appreciates parallel to the increase in the national debt. How many people would agree with that? If you guys would agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Carlton Wade. Carlton Wade said no one has the muscle to take anything from the U.S. Maybe it's time for people to start getting in the weight room. Right? Maybe it's time for people to start drinking protein shakes and not them Diddy Party type protein shakes. Not them Monica Lewinsky style protein shakes, right? The tweet sparked widespread debate, drawing reactions from prominent figures across crypto and mainstream culture. YouTube creator Mr. Beast asked bluntly, "We're just going to casually build up $100 trillion in debt over our lifetimes, and people will just continue to be chill with it and loan us money?" I mean, that's, it's a great question. Except for there's just one problem. Mr. Beast people made him super great. I can't get a message through. Crypto influencer Wendy O. How many people have ever seen Wendy O? Crypto creator. She's a YouTuber. I think her YouTube channel is called Crypto Wendy. Crypto influencer Wendy O weighed in with skepticism. Bitcoin will never be a reserve currency because of its volatility, but it will be desired. A stable coin, yes. I don't necessarily know if I agree with that. I don't necessarily know if I agree that Bitcoin is volatile. You know what I'm saying? So a six-fold increase, right? 6 times 600% in 25 years, right? 600% increase in 25 years. 600. What's 600 divided by 25? 600 divided by 25. So basically, the national debt increases 24% every year. At least it has for the last 25 years. 24%. Bitcoin has averaged what? 64% APY. So Bitcoin is on track to outpace the market cap of the national debt. Right? If we start at 2000 and we go up 25 years, right? 25% every year. Bitcoin is 60% APY. So Bitcoin, in theory, would outpace the debt. At some point, it will reach Bitcoin debt market cap parity, and then Bitcoin would outpace the national debt. The market cap, at least. Maybe one Bitcoin. 36.9 trillion is the national debt. I think if Bitcoin reaches gold parity, that might be the Bitcoin market cap might be more than the gold market cap. So, it's interesting. You could almost say that Bitcoin is an ETF tracking. You could almost say that Bitcoin is an ETF tracking the U.S. national debt market cap. You know what I'm saying? In theory, you could say that. Okay. So now here it says, meanwhile, HODL 15 Capital echoed Armstrong's concerns from a different angle. Bitcoin has no top because free fiat printing will never end. And again, when people talk about Bitcoin in the top in regards to fiat printing, they're not thinking about Bitcoin in terms of the human market cap. Any amount of value that humans can create anywhere in the universe, not restricted to fiat, is part of what could increase Bitcoin's value system. It's not just based on fiat printing. We talk about Bitcoin absorbing all of these market caps. You know what I'm saying? Bitcoin absorbing the silver market cap, absorbing the real estate market cap, absorbing the gold market cap. It's not just about fiat. So it's not just about fiat. Elon Musk retweeted the post and replied with an American flag emoji. Elon Musk splits from Republican spending agenda. Musk appears genuinely frustrated with the current administration after leaving his White House position. He attacked Republican congressmen who voted in favor of the One Big Beautiful Bill, calling it a disgusting abomination in government spending. Musk also echoed Armstrong's sentiment in another post. Interest payments already consume 25% of all government revenue. All right, so there goes that 25%. You know what I'm saying? There goes that 25%. If the massive deficit spending continues, there will only be money for interest payments and nothing else. So there'll be interest payment debt parity. Then that would mean that there's zero income. And then after it goes beyond the parity, it would be negative income. He also called for firing of all politicians who supported the bill in next year's midterms, declaring, in November next year, we fire all politicians who betrayed the American people. Okay. The statement was made while quote tweeting a post by Matt Van Swole highlighting GOP's overspending, ignoring Doge cuts, and spending too much time on vacation. But all 5 Republican congressmen voted yes on the controversial bill, while all 214 Democrats voted no. U.S. government spending crisis looms. Okay, this goes hand in hand with the unemployment data that we've been tracking. Okay, this goes hand in hand with the unemployment data that we've been tracking. The backdrop to this discourse is a troubling fiscal trajectory. According to Congressional Budget Office estimates, the interest of the federal debt alone will approach $1 trillion this year and could double by the mid-2030s. Rising entitlement costs, pandemic-era spending, and bipartisan reluctance to raise taxes or cut popular programs have all contributed to the ballooning deficits. The dollar's position as the global reserve currency has long been underpinned by the scale and perceived stability of the U.S. economy in deep and liquid treasury markets. Replacing that infrastructure with Bitcoin would require seismic shifts in monetary policy, financial regulation, and sovereign behavior. Okay? Bitcoin sits in wait with institutional integration. All right. Still, institutional interest in Bitcoin continues to grow, with Bitcoin trading above $100,000 in 2025 and spot ETFs now widely available. The narrative of Bitcoin as digital gold has moved from the fringes into the boardrooms, yet it remains relatively volatile and lacks the macroeconomic levers. And they keep talking this volatility, but like I said, and like we've proven, Bitcoin is less volatile than the S&P 500. Such as interest rates and fiscal control that underpin fiat systems. Still, here we go. Bitcoin volatility is declining, reducing the strength of this criticism. Okay. And again, if people understood, they would understand that it's not Bitcoin that's volatile. It's the valuation of the assets that Bitcoin is priced against that create this idea of volatility. You know what I'm saying? Like if the road is bumpy, it's not that the car has a bad suspension system. It's the road is bumpy. You're just feeling the bumps because you're driving over the road. The financial system is bumpy. And so since it's projected through the Bitcoin valuation, it's going to present as volatile. You know what I'm saying? Armstrong's warning is a part of broader discourse about financial discipline and the long-term viability of the current monetary system. It also highlights the belief among Bitcoin advocates that decentralized assets will increasingly function as alternatives to fiat currencies if inflationary fiscal pressures continue unchecked. For now, Bitcoin is unlikely to become a true reserve currency in the near term. But as America's debt burden raises and confidence in traditional monetary policy falters, this idea is no longer unthinkable. Armstrong and Musk believe the hyper-Bitcoinization clock is ticking, and it clearly is. And this is something that we've all known quite some time. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, players and pimps, I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. All right. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please take a moment, hit that bell, subscribe to the channel. If you haven't shared the stream to your social media, take a moment, share the stream to your social media. Only share it with people who appreciate cryptocurrency conversations, cryptocurrency discourse, economic conversations, economic discourse. Don't share it with lay people. We don't want filth around. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the people who contributed to the stream. I definitely appreciate you. Make sure y'all show my man Black Free Thinker some love. Definitely appreciate it. And shout out to my man TD Media Group. My man TD Media Group has a TD Media Group has a daunting mission ahead of him. We'll see how he does. You know what I'm saying? And as always, ladies and gentlemen,
run for it, run. Yeah, hey, okay, I'm fresh up out the package. Sign my deal, I pay my dues. Affiliated to this paper, I need freedom for my family line. Draw my life design up like fine art. I'm jumping off just an unfamiliar coordinates. Hopped off the porch like I could touch the sky. Red, it's not one trill. The ism talk the water out your faucet. Look at me flossing, I'm so wavy, I could change the tide. My intuition sense the hatred in your ways. You imitated, forging lines, claim meaning means that's just to justify. Yeah, right. West side, born maritime. Creole baby, my bloodline. My lungs clouded, my thoughts crowded. Say all I see is these dollar signs. Finna make a play and that sound delay. On mamas, I testify. Run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Game recognized game. I'm from the Bay, okay, I'm versatile and my slang is different. I'm lane switching with the same people that I came up in this thing with. My head swivel, I'm homebound, got a target back on my backside. Cat peeling with the cast iron, better run for it, run before I catch you. Niggas out ball it, block it, trying to stop my blessing. Gamble with your life, don't bet it. They can't stop my blessing. You do best not to test it. Yeah, you right. Real all in my blood supply. Dig it ball up top, finna make a play. I cast a lob like I'm Jalen, baby. No cosigner, no co-pilot. They pen pals, my flow designer. My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission is a dollar sign. If I say it twice, then I meant it right.
My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission is a dollar sign. You know, cosigner, no co-pilot. They pen pals, my flow designer. My brain signal out of range with it. My palm mission is a dollar sign.
Run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds. Run for it, run. I'm out here paper chasing, looking for the funds.